Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inner Parent Podcast. We have our first guest today, and I am super excited. It is Meaghan Wall, and I would like to invite Meaghan to introduce herself with 4 words that she wants you to know about her.
4 words. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Money.
Yes.
Um, Cats, volleyball,
Ooh.
and is not one of the words. Um, The Sims 4. There you go. That's
Sims.
a
Okay. Yes.
it's a
I
con
love
sim.
this. So we have money, cats, volleyball, and Sims 4. Okay, we're gonna yes and the shit out of this. When you think about the idea of volleying cats, right? If this was an activity where a cat comes up to you and is like, Meaghan, I know you've been told that volleyball has to use a ball and that cats belong on laps, but I want to know what it feels like to fly. Will you volley me? Okay, you have to pick one person in your life that you trust to safely volley the cat back and forth. Who are you picking and why?
I would definitely choose my one of my teammates, Andre. He is excellent at volleyball. And I feel like he respects me enough to play safely and keep my cat safe.
I love this. So let's world build here. So what you're saying is that you have this lived experience with someone where relationship has been established, there are some boundaries or practices that feel like they're mutually respected, and that there'd be an agreed upon ultimate goal of keeping your cat safe while letting them check something off of their bucket list. Does that feel
Yeah.
like an accurate extrapolation?
Yeah. Because my husband, I wouldn't choose my, well, I know a lot of people in my life are not good at volleyball. So I feel like not being good at volleyball is less safe for the cat. You have to have the skill to be, because like, what if one of my friends or my husband shanks the cat?
Oh,
Because, like
absolutely.
it's gonna go flying. You got to be good at
I
volleyball.
I love this too. And I imagine there'd be this moment, so I also played volleyball, where someone might just be too in the moment where like, yeah, bumps that spike and think like there's a certain right cadence or this proper way to do it. And then they try to spike your cat, in which case I just hope your cat would absolutely just attack their face and say, we're not doing that,
Mhm.
right? Because
Mhm.
but that part where it's like, what you're beautifully alluding to is that something that my therapist once told me is like every friendship or relationship in your life doesn't have to play all of the roles possible that a relationship can play.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so there can sometimes be this pressure to like say the right person, or like if you're married, it has to be your spouse, or if you have a sibling, it has to be your sibling for these different scenarios. And I'm just wondering whether you've had any moments in life where if you not even just a do-over, but what would it be like to go on a little mental trip of, oh, well, if I would have chosen this other person, place, or thing, really, like if you would switch out a noun, so to speak, that the experience you had would have been what you actually wanted. And how does it feel to sort of give yourself permission to have a little daydream with role playing that out a different way?
Hmm. Can you repeat the question?
Yes. So think of a moment where if you could swap out a noun, right? So you would have picked someone
Mhm.
different, gone to a different place, maybe used a different thing, um, that you would have liked the experience or would have just been a better fit because you would have been choosing what you actually wanted to choose and not what you felt like you had
Mm.
to.
Yeah. Okay. There is, see, I don't live with a lot of guilt or like regret. That's like one of my rules in life. I don't, um, I believe that everything that in my life, not, I hate the phrase everything happens for a reason. That's not what I was going to say. Everything happened the way that made me the way that I am. And I love myself the way that I am. Now, when I was like 18, I got the opportunity to take a gap year from school and go be an au pair in Ireland. And so I lived in Ireland. The goal was like I was going to be there for years, or I was going to travel across Europe and do that for years, as an au pair, as a nanny. And within the first couple weeks, the family that I was with realized that things weren't working out between us, which is fine. And they had let me go. And so I had decided that I was going to just hop on the website that I found them through and find another family local and trying to get another job. Well, they apparently didn't give me a very good reference for to this other family, and they moved on to somebody else. That was devastating to me, and I decided that I was just going to go home instead of actually continuing to try to find another family. And honestly, it's probably one of my biggest regrets. I feel like I kind of retreated back into my comfort zone. I mean, I was 18, like I'm no fault to my 18-year-old baby self. She did exactly what she knew how to do, and that was protect herself. She felt very unsafe. She missed her home. Like she could have never made another decision, but I wish I had made the decision to stay and try to stick it out a little bit longer.
Thank you for sharing that. And I want to just reflect back. I hear the amount of grace that you're giving yourself, and and I totally share the sentiment of I know I'm where I need to be and I want to change things. And also, there are a few things where the experience that would have been had would have been
Yeah.
more enjoyable or different. And that's one of the things if I find myself in a moment where there's this sort of Venn diagram hybrid of like nostalgia or um if I start to feel a little self-doubty, then I'll sort of ask myself, okay, what's something that's like 2% being self-deprecating or critical, right? Like, can I get any amount of humor in there? Like 96% whimsy and then
Yeah.
2% nostalgia, right? Like, or, try to give myself this opportunity to imagine differently and see how it feels in my body because I find that if
Mhm.
we can put the emotions that we felt in the moment in sort of like the trunk of the car, right? They still are valid because they were what we experienced, but they don't have to still be the only experience we have with that moment. And
Yeah.
so we're going to play a little game right now that so I had my first Guinness beer in it was Galway, Ireland, so it's like the west
Hmm.
coast of it. So we're going to play a little game of, like we're in a pub, right? But this is like we're there unusually early. Well, right now it's 10:18 Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to pretend that it's 10:18 in the morning. We find ourselves in this pub and we're going to play a game. And that game is going to require you to open up that emotional suitcase that we just packed and pick out two emotions. One, that emotion that you felt this week and one emotion that you don't feel often. Right? It can be quote positive and negative, but something that you felt recently and one that you're like, oh, I don't usually feel that way. And let me know when you have those two emotions.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
Okay. Pick which one and then don't tell me which one is which. So just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So go ahead and just share one of the emotions.
Okay. Kinship, like community,
Yes.
very like
Absolutely. Okay.
intimate feeling.
So, Megan, through this game, you're going to be Megan, and I'm going to be whoever the fuck ends up coming out of my mouth. So, you be you, okay?
Okay.
And I'm not going to try to do an Irish accent. I can't do accents at all. And if I could for any amount of time, my husband laughs at me because I cannot keep it or remember what I did. So, we're going to be there. You again? It's really you. I cannot believe you're here this early. Come take a seat. Not that seat. That's Charles'
Oh,
seat. Yes,
Charles.
that's Charles, he's usually in by like 10:30, so not quite, but he gets so mad if someone's in his seat. But I think he's going to be excited that you're here. Do you remember what happened last time?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I do. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you'd come back after that. It's a bold move, but
Mm.
I just want to know, how did your stomach feel after eating our 12-pound uh, um, beer cheese pretzel sampler platter? Like how that was just a lot of carbs and a lot of cheese. How did you feel
I've
after
got a
that?
stomach of steel. That's why I'm back.
Yeah. Well, and I will notice that because every time someone would notice you just eating it in the corner over there, they'd come and ask if you were okay, like if you'd been crying or did you need any help. And I just told them like, no, I think Megan is just so comfortable right now. Um, and I was amazed by your lack of sweat. Like when I usually get about 2 pounds in, I am profusely sweating. Do you have any like secret strategies? Do you practice competitive eating or do you just really like living your best life?
I think the beer cheese sweats are a part of my like genetics. Like I think
Yes.
being from Ireland, my lineage has the beer cheese sweats built into them.
And that's the wonderful thing about genetics is, like my cousin Abigail got me, a 23andMe, kit, and then her brother Stefan, they always compete. That's what twins do. He got me the ancestry DNA, and so they both were showing totally different results, and I was so confused. And then I realized that I, accidentally put the wrong sample in the wrong bag. And so I was wondering like how this happened. And I realized it's because I was like high and drunk off of the beer cheese and
Mm.
pretzel combination that I was just
Oh,
walking
dude.
up to people in the bar. So I actually think Charles was who I swabbed for the 23andMe sample. And I don't know how to tell him that, he's not actually Irish. There was no
Mm.
percentage at all. And,
How do you feel? How do you think you'd feel about being in a national database now with his
that's the other
DNA?
thing because he doesn't even have like a wallet. He will not be identified. I don't even know if his name is Charles. He's just told me that for the past 17 years.
Mm.
Do we have an
He's kind of one of
intervention?
those he's kind of one of those like dugout shelters, right? Like
Yes.
cool.
Well, yeah, and but see, at least he has the sort of like the Hobbit whimsy vibe where it almost looks like you're just in Lord of the Rings. So like I kind of like it aesthetically. I don't know what it looks like inside because he shoos me away at the gate. But like, do you think we should have an intervention? Should we tell him all of this? I think he would appreciate more than one person being in on this, but not more than three people,
Mm.
because that would be a crowd. But like you could catch him if he faints.
Do you think being Irish is a genetic thing, or do you think it's more of a spirit, like a you have it in in your body, in your
Yeah, see,
soul kind of thing?
for me personally, it would be that. And also, can you eat a lot of beer cheese, right? Because we've decided that that is, together in
Mm,
this moment, we've decided that that's all that matters in life.
mm,
But based off of all of Charles' rants and tirades when he's about 4 Michelob Lights in, also, who drinks Michelob Lights in Ireland? That might be a little indicator, right? Once he's 4 Michelobs in, he starts saying how the only thing that matters in his whole world is that at the end of the day, he knows that he is the most Irish person to ever live. And that's like big claims. It might break him.
I think it might actually. Well, and you know, we could get him a few Michelob Lights in, play his favorite song on the jukebox, and then
Yes.
tell him.
Oh my goodness. It'd almost be like Inception, where we're like
Oh,
just planting the seeds, we're curating them. Okay,
yeah.
I think this could work. And at the end
Mm,
of the day, if he doesn't take it well, we can tell him that this is actually just a scene in Sims 4.
mhm.
Cut.
Well,
Okay.
here's I
No, I'm kidding.
was gonna
Oh,
keep going.
no, go ahead. No,
I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna
What were
say,
you about to say?
I was gonna say, well, we could incept the idea in his mind and have him think it was his idea. He can go get his own,
Oh my God,
and
I
then we
love
never
this.
have to tell him.
Love this. Oh, I cut way too early. I will take that. So now on my list of 3.5 regrets, that is now rounding up to 4.
Mm.
So, Megan, how did it feel to be silly, first off, and also to world build with this idea of an emotion and kinship, right? And I know we didn't get to the other emotion that's intentional, right? How did that feel as just a thought exercise with a stranger on the internet?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little uncomfortable at first, just feeling I've never I never took, I mean, I was a theater kid, yes, but I never was in like improv. But I do enjoy a little role play for sure.
And so, what was your other emotion?
I don't know how else to describe it, but luteal. Um, just want to burn everything to the ground. I don't know how to describe that emotion. I'm sure there's like
You
Jap,
just did it.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, I love this so much because what I was going to say is, um, when we play and practice with like role play or the idea of being okay with improv, it's really this trust of just making it up as you go. And so if something that, a human can experience, right, is ludial or right, burning things down, how in your life have you found yourself navigating when that emotion or feeling comes up? And perhaps could the practice of role playing, right, whether that's just thinking things through or like
Mm.
being like, hey, Lori, let's be weird on camera in front of people. Um, how can that give you permission to reparent the part of yourself that says there's a properness or like a right way to do it or any of the messages that you were given by adults in your like upbringing? How, yeah, so summarize all 10 of those questions. So how,
Mm.
what's your relationship with allowing yourself to blow things up?
Yeah, I have a great relationship with my inner brat. I love to let her brat out. She throws tantrums all the time.
Does
Like
she have a
I
name?
She does not know, but
Mm.
she does get put in the corner with an iPad and a snack quite a bit. After she, to regulate herself a little bit after she's done throwing her tantrums, that's where we put her. Um, yeah, I've done a lot of work around reparenting that, just like I don't know if it's like restless leg syndrome is kind of what's coming up. Like I want there to be chaos. And the only way I know how to do that is to either change my hair or move states. And I'm broke right now, so I can't move states. So let me dye my hair instead. So yeah.
Absolutely. I love this. So, your inner parent right now, I want you to just visualize, even if you've never even thought of it ever, that's the whole point of this. We're playing here. What color does your inner parent's hair? Oh my gosh, that was not English. What color hair does your inner parent have right in this very moment?
Oh, my natural color, strawberry blonde. My hair's, I know you can't see me right now. For everybody listening,
Yeah.
Lori can't see my face right
But
now.
we're hoping that you all can see and that somehow the Zoomiverse is recording your camera, even though I can't see it.
Yeah. So we're doing this really because like I have an unfair advantage. I can see you, but you can't
Yes.
see me. But my hair is very dark right now and I just dyed it and I'm really loving it. But my inner parent definitely has her natural strawberry blonde color.
I love that. Because what you're also saying too is that your inner parent is just fucking fabulous, right? I'm sorry, just something about strawberry blonde. Like I just want to be like, tell me your secrets right now in front of everyone. No, and why I asked about the hair color is, when you're thinking about blowing things up, right? It's at least the way it's packaged to me, this idea of losing control and letting go, or really blowing things up is really just actually like making decisions and letting yourself act them out. Like
Mm.
that was not allowed. So like I feel like the inner parent I was like told I was supposed to have is supposed to have like Dr. Quinn medicine woman, like really like
Mm.
stoic and prairie proud. I don't know what the fuck that means. Like hair pulled back, right? But if you want to know, Megan, my inner parent is actually a sort of a spectrum. And on one end, it's Leslie Rose, and the other end is Moira Nope. So I have merged them and flipped them around. So, they swapped first and last names. And
Hmm.
so what I find is that sometimes if I'm like fully Moira Noping, I am like whimsy, yes, sass, but also like not getting anything done. And if I'm only Leslie Rosing, then I'm just like, we must do it all and it must be perfect, right? And then I remember, oh yeah, this is like a cornucopia of chaos, what we call life. And can I have a little bit of each? And so I so often use like the gifts of either one of them in my responses to people. And my favorite ones are just like, if you've seen Schitt's Creek's, Moira Rose's character, all of her different wigs. Um, and so I think, and then there's a few scenes in Parks and Rec where Leslie's hair is what, just spectacularly chaotic. And so I often think about if I need to put on a sort of a different hat for the day, instead I'm like, what wig? What hair do I have? So thank you for humoring me with your hair response. And I'm just curious, how does it feel to sort of like in that decision making process, right? Like if you're like, okay, I am dyeing my hair, are you more of like I'm going to go ahead and get out like my color theory wheel and I'm going to see which is like the perfect color? Or are you more of
No,
like
no,
a
no, 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 no.
vibes?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we go to Pinterest and I pretty much scroll and put my finger down on, you know how you used as a kid, you would spin the globe and you'd put your finger
Yes,
and you just
freaking love
go,
it.
you're like, this is where I'm gonna go. That's kind of what I do on Pinterest. I just scroll and then put my finger on the screen and whatever it lands on, that's what I get.
Just iconic. You're so iconic. And I am so visually laughing because how you let our listeners know that I can't see you. I think that was part of for me to even say the difficulty of when we were role playing in the pub with Charles is that I couldn't actually see if you were like, I want to fake food poisoning and get me out of this, right? Like I couldn't
Yeah.
rely on any cues. And so I also had to slow down my ADHD chipmunk brain to be like, I don't want to pause this. Okay, you're literally yeeting someone into the abyss of play, then they don't know what's happening and you don't know what's happening. So I'm just still laughing because for all I know, you were the one sort of a meme where it's kind of like it I will say like a dehydrated cat monkey hybrid where it's like the I don't
Oh
even know
yeah.
what animal like that part because
It's
I'm
a
like
lemur. It's a lemur,
is it
right?
actually a lemur? Yeah, because I wasn't
Dehydrated
sure.
cat.
Well, because see, I know, because here's the thing. I didn't know if it's supposed to actually be a lemur or like. So here,
Um,
I have this theory. Okay, so recently, in the past 20 years, because I don't actually know when, at some point they stopped making whatever it was, Sierra Mist, and started making Starry. And when
oh
I
yeah.
first had Starry, like a year or so ago, right, it was at somewhere where they were like, "Oh no, we don't have Starry." I'm like, "Cool, whatever." And my toddler wanted to sip, and I gave it to her. She's like, oh, it tastes bad. So I'm like, oh, is it flat?
Mm,
Okay, no, right, this is not legally a thing. Don't sue me. My perception of Starry is that someone told someone this is what a lemon and a lime tastes like. Go
mm,
make a flavor. But that person has never tasted lemon or lime.
mm.
And they got it all wrong, and it's neither. And it's also slightly dish soapy and just water. So,
I've
um,
never had a starry.
I would not recommend it, personally, but if you're like out in the Sahara and you're like, I need something to persist me, yes, absolutely save yourself, but just know that it will be the bare minimum saving. It will save your body, not your soul. Um,
Well, here's my question. If you're in the Sahara Desert, will that taste like what you remember lemon and lime tasting like?
if you just teleported the Sahara and it's been 3 minutes and you're just a little thirsty, no. If you are on a quest, and you are out of your rest of your like cricket powder gelatin bars, yeah, you might be like, oh, yeah, right, that's my my Mirage Angels hitting their worst notes. But you're hearing them, so you're live. But no, I do appreciate that follow-up question. But I say all that to say that it felt like that, where it's like I think it's a lemur, but it also almost looked uh like a character slash hybrid or like a taxidermy experiment. Like I couldn't quite tell the original source material, but thank you for confirming that it is a lemur. And then I just think it's a dehydrated cat monkey. Which if I were
Dehydrated.
if
I
I
mean, that's
were to start a
perfect, perfect
garage
description.
band, yeah, today it's going to be called Dehydrated Cat Monkey. Um, and
That's what they called me in high school.
how did that influence the just trajectory of your life, Megan? But really, how? No, I'm kidding. You're just like, there was a lot of staring at the wall. Oh, you are delightful. And on that note of I cannot stop visualizing the Hydra cat monkey. Um, I'm still kind of reveling in the fact that you're iconic, right? Just to gas you up a little bit. Um,
Thank you.
with you saying you have no regrets, has that, how do you even language? Do you get a lot of pushback from that? And not that you have to care, give a fuck, but like, when you bump into people in the world that like give too many fucks about all the things and are
Mm.
like very perhaps self-critical, which then gets, projected out to everyone else, are they kind of like, are you a Martian? Like, do they not get that it's possible to have a sense of peace with yourself? Meaghan Wall.
I th I think it more I feel like I need to practice more patience with people who do give a fuck because
Mm.
I my husband is the exact opposite of me in that realm. And I'm just like, babe, just, have you tried like just not caring? And he's like, "Oh yeah, great, Megan. Thanks. That's really helpful." And I find that it's really hard for me to relate to those types of people because I don't know what to say. Because I'm like,
Mm.
I can't, you're,
You're the meme with the brush poking the person puking in the toilet. They're there. Right.
yeah, I mean, it sounds like I don't have any,
Oh no.
um,
You
like
have empathy and feelings.
empathy. Yeah,
Yes.
I
Well,
do.
we're gonna play with there. We're gonna skirt. Okay. So well, first I just want to acknowledge too that emotional intelligence does include empathy and it also includes an awareness of what is and isn't yours.
Mm.
Um, And so we're gonna imagine that we're at the thrift shop, but it's like the era right before it got like trendy to thrift, and so things are still actually pretty affordable. And you're going in, you have no intention on flipping anything for the moment. You're just going in to browse. Um,
Before that song came out,
Yes, Macklemore.
that
Boop,
thrift.
boop. Actually, I was
Yep.
in England and like studying and then went to Ireland and Germany for so like mini trips like right when that song was like coming out. And as a side note, it's so funny. I did so me being the social scientist that I am. Um and I was doing these experiments where if I part my hair on my right side, which is like where it usually parts, as you can't tell, I live in my eye mask. It's like eye mask couture. Thank you. But if I have my hair part on my right side, I look American. I don't know decide what that means, okay? But I do.
Hmm.
And people
Hmm.
would absolutely treat me like shit, which like most Americans we are like shitty. It just I get it.
Yeah.
But like not holding the door, actively shitting my face, telling me to fuck off, like and I'm just like walking and breathing, right? So then I did this experiment where if I parted my hair on the left side, that's the only thing that would change, right? Like the same day, same place, I would just turn around, flip it the other way, and then for the next 10 minutes, see how people interacted. Everyone would be like kind or like UK kind, like just indifferent of just, yeah, here's the door, get the fuck out of my way. Like, right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm from Baltimore. We roll with it. Yeah, I much prefer East Coast kind over West Coast nice. We're there. But it was at the point where then they would say something and be like, oh, thank you. And then literally the face would be like, because they would be like, "Fuck, you're English, like you're American." Like they would realize because I'd open my mouth and then this awkward voice would come out, but
Right.
my like visual, my face morphed, right? And I like, but I was literally taking notes. Like I had tallies and like I had statistical data, because
Aw.
what the fuck else would a Virgo studying abroad do? I don't know, but apparently that. So when that song came out. I also noticed that if I were to put on like my layers, my like sort of thrift store layers in a way that did not sort of match in terms of like what people would like notice or, compliment me by in the States, that's when people would like also be kinder and then be like, "Oh, I love your outfit there." So then I was like, "Okay, is the issue of me trying to function or like look put together when I'm in the States that I'm trying to like curate or like I care too much? And there's something about studying abroad where I can like just not care." And what my findings were was that I have way too much time and energy if I'm taking
Mm.
notes and collecting statistical data on this information. Um, and so I would invite you to think of a certain category, anything in life, whether it's current or in the past, where you absolutely give so many fucks. Like where, like you may not have the fucks for everything, but there's one particular instance or topic where you're like, I give all of the fucks.
Oh. Okay. Um, it's like I don't want to go too political with my answer.
You can absolutely go political because life is political.
Hmm. Yeah. Queer rights, like human rights, in general, but specifically LGBTQ, like um living and breathing and just being alive is very important to me, and having access to things and being allowed to live in this world. That's very important to me.
Absolutely. Yes, and that. Put it in caps. So, are you comfortable with the sake of brevity with saying that can we use the semi-popular phrase love is love as like a energy holder for
Hmm.
LGBTQ. Oh my gosh, my name. LGBTQ plus rights. Okay. So
Hmm.
how would it feel if in a moment, let's say your husband really has strong feelings about mustard. You know, he's like, it needs to be coarse grain. It needs to at least be 12% German, right? You know, he just like
Hmm.
mustard is his special interest. Um, how does it feel to in terms of like you don't know what to say when someone else has fucks with something else? Oh, this is their love is love moment, right?
Hmm.
How does it feel to be like, oh, how I feel about this is where they're coming from about that? So mustard is, the holy grail moment, right?
Hmm.
Does it feel like a sort of a bridge can be connected to like I don't have to know exactly what your thoughts are about this thing, but I can tell that you care about it, and so I can relate with the idea of caring about something?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that's a very good example because my husband would definitely, not specifically mustard, but he is big into food and has a lot of those types of opinions. So, yeah, I mean, I have to, I love him and stuff. So I feel like I have to kind of relate to him in that way and hold that space for his neuroses around food.
Yes, you're like, my therapist, the one personal thing information I learned about her and I hold it so close is that she really loves I will protect her identity and say a certain brand of kettle chips, right? But when she says that, I was just like, oh, and then at one point it was like a Sunday at like 4 a.m. or something, and I just randomly like checked my email because what else would you do when you have insomnia and you're like 8 months pregnant? Um, and I saw this coupon for the local grocery store and it was for those particular chips. And I had this absolute crisis of like, do I email my therapist for the first time in 7 years because there's a coupon code for chips? And then I was like, maybe not because she would be like, why is this 8 month pregnant person emailing me at 4 a.m.? You know,
Hmm.
understand. I hope she wouldn't see it in the real time, but when she got to it, be like, is there something wrong?
Hmm.
So I like to Care Bear Heartbeam people. So I
Oh,
just was like, tam, 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 and like sent crunchy vibes. And then the following Thursday, when we were in my session, I started it out. You know, she always starts with like, "What's on your mind?" And I was like, and I told her I was like, there was this coupon about the chips, and
I
I
thought
wanted to
of
send it to
you.
you. Yeah, and she just like cracks up, and then she just slowly deadpan picks up a bag of chips from her desk and was like, "I got these Sunday night. Something just told me I needed to go to the store," and
Shut
and
up.
she had bought several bags because it was essentially like buy four for the price of like one or like it was just some odd like insane deal.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I cracked up and then I was just like, I'm not saying I need the credit, but I'm also just really happy that you listened to that urge. um
Hmm.
so I say that to say that part of like one of my favorite things about having these indirect conversations and practices about reparenting inner parent is that so often it is listening to those nudges of finding common ground, but like not in this way of like, oh, I'm still gonna like be really supportive and love my like racist and like, family members because like no, but
Hmm.
like common ground of like the people you want to be in a relationship with, there is an angle in which you can understand and see and relate with. Your things may not be my things, but you are my thing. You know what I mean? Like you matter in my
Yeah,
life. And so I am going to keep one spoon of energy available to be in the moment with you as you're going through and enjoying your
absolutely.
things.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think that's the only way to have any kind of relationship with anybody is to be able to hold the spoon for their um Special interests.
Megan, you've gotten all of the answers and questions right in the whole world. You get 4,000 points. Thank you for
Yay.
agreeing with me and making me look good. No, I'm kidding.
What is it? The rules don't
Yes,
matter and the points are made up or whatever.
yes, for, yeah, whose line? Yeah, you're like, welcome to whose line where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Yep, all that.
Mm.
As a side note, I do have a lot of childhood memories of watching that. And then, so my parents are both like lowercase type A. Like I don't know if they actually want to
Okay.
be stern and strict and like vanilla, but they just sort of had to be. And then they both were in the military and all that. So yeah, so
Mm.
that's like lowercase. Like I wonder who they
They're
actually
like
are.
learned type A.
Absolutely learn type. Their inner parents are very much, well, no, I will say they did make several choices. Like they both say the words, I love you. And I know their parents didn't say that to him. Thank you, mom and dad. Like
Mm,
we don't have to break all of the cycles ourselves. Each generation hopefully has broken some amount. And so I see that,
right.
yes. So that's why I'll say they're lowercase a, like type A's. And so we would, my dad in particular, we'd watch Who's Line. And then after an episode, I would be like, let's fucking do it, right? Essentially, I would just go and like bring in the spoon and then wave in his face like, hey, what do you got to say to me? I'm interviewing you on CBS. Like something. And he would just be like,
Lori, somehow this doesn't surprise me at all.
all right, full circle, and here we are. And yet it was so surprising to me as I became an adult of like, oh, I'm not an uppercase type A bold font. And it was just would be so funny because what I didn't understand in that moment is that his interest was watching, spectating, okay, the moment's over. Mine was like, we're fucking in it, right?
Mhm.
And so, but again, as like a 7-year-old who was just learning how to be printified and hair flip, doing all the things, right? I just was like, how is this not also your thing, right? And so now
Mm.
when I look back and now as a parent as well, I'm just like, oh, bro was probably just real fucking tired and thinking about how he had to commute an hour to work and then work 10 hours, then come back. And uh now he has to entertain talking into my spoon, right? Like I get
Yeah.
it with more nuance. And also kind of what I'm getting at now is both my parents are, 5 hours away, but next time I see him, I think I'm just gonna pull out a random ass spoon from my pocket and see if any trauma flashbacks pop in his eyes. No, I'm kidding. Or if he even remembers or if he responds on the spoon. We're going to
Well,
where
it's
I will
funny.
keep you posted.
Oh yeah, please do. Just to relate to that, my brother and I used to put on little productions in front of my dad and my mom. And we would go down the hallway, we would put on our costume or whatever, like, just like a blanket draped over our head or whatever it was with the belts around. We played the three wise men, the two wise men quite often. And then I would have my dad would go, introducing, and he'd like give a whole like spiel and like let us come down the hallway and like do our production.
I that just made me so happy. So happy. And there's a podcast one of my friends had put me on, in term meaning like told me about that I really like. It's Brett Goldstein's Films to Be Buried With. And when a guest comes on, he's known for having these like incredible intros. Like he'll be like, an actor, a writer, a saver of pigeons, someone who once made macaroni and cheese and dropped it in front of everybody else and still ate it off the floor iconically. Right? Like there's these
Mm-hmm.
huge like crescendos of like 50 things. And then he'll end with something that's usually something like, because he's running out of things where he's just like, and a breather of oxygen. And right. And then people are usually just like, oh my God, and it's like the hype, the running gag, right? The sort of
Yeah.
spoken, unspoken gag is that is the thrill. Everyone is just waiting to hear how they're going to be introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the podcast itself, the rest is all incredible, but it's so funny that, over hundreds of guests, everyone is usually like on pins and needles of like, oh, this is like, like on their bucket list is being introduced by Brett Goldstein. And so I just love that, like your lived experience and childhood includes absolutely being on the spotlight like that, or, like having someone hype you up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it reminds me of Sean Evans from Hot Ones. And whenever he like asks some of his like super deep cut questions are like, dude, you have great questions. And actually, when I had a podcast several years ago, and a podcast manager, she would kind of help me like prepare for the if I ever did an interview. And I was like, I want to be like Sean Evans, and I want people to be like, damn, these are really good questions. Okay. And she was like, I got you. So that's kind of what we did. Hi, baby.
And then I'm here saying like, what happened if you volleyed your cat?
I know. Yeah. Well, here's my cat. Well, one of them.
Well, I thought so as
Her
soon as I
name
heard you saying. I was
Casey.
like, "Oh, hello, kitties." You just to let you know, Kitty, you were safely volleyed. You have returned. I hope your bucket list was as memorable as any of us could imagine a cat's bucket list was. It's like
She
5 goes
is
west,
the
but Kitty goes
easiest.
airborne.
Uh, she is the easiest to be volleyed out of my three cats for sure.
You know what? We like practicing with a consenting cat and also one that is easily volleyed. I think that was you. You made a really good choice, and I just want to affirm every decision you've ever made in your entire life.
Thank you.
Because that's that's what we're here to do. We're here to microdose, hyping each other up. Well, Megan, we're at the point where we have to remember time is a construct, and so we're gonna do one last little quirky activity, and I want you to share with us how you function as an adult. And what I mean by that, what are your go-tos? Like, what is something like day in and day out that gets you by? And then the second question is like, what do you do in the world? You can decide to answer that in terms of, like business, adulty stuff, or like I secretly crochet, visor, like sun visors for my cats. Like, so what gets you by and how do you get yourself by are our questions that we will round out today with.
Well, I'm going to answer both of those questions with the same answer and just say I do what I want.
Fucking love iconic. How okay, so for any future guests after this, I will lowercase apologize for how high of a fucking bar Megan set with being
Yeah, try
iconic
to
as fuck.
follow this.
Womp womp, you can't. I love that. I just fucking love that. So, in line with doing whatever the fuck you want, is there anything else that you want to share with people? Like, do you want them to be able to like follow, follow you not in the grocery store, on like the socials? Are there other things that you've done that you were like, I think that I want to share this? Like, what the fuck do you want to tell people,
What if
if
we just
anything?
like didn't put any links in the
I know.
description at all? And these people were like, who is this person? Where did she come from? How can I find her?
It's really
And
Charles with a voice changer. Dun dun dun.
the people will never know. Yeah, so I am the Hot Girl CFO on Instagram and Threads. That's where I mainly play. I'm trying to get famous on TikTok, but you have to actually post on TikTok to
I
get
know.
famous on
Fuck. I would just have the same thought too, Megan. Tell us. Tell us. Ugh.
TikTok. Well, yeah, I just don't post, and because I have a weird block around it. So that's something I'm working on. I know that you asked. And my website is thehotgirlcfo.com.
Fucking love that. So, Megan, as we're parting ways with our 8,000 people audience, somehow they were all fit in a shoebox. We like, I don't think we like misfrizzled down. Like, it's just, we're in a very interesting locale, right? So as you're going about your day after this moment and your brain sort of reboots and you're like, what the fuck did I just experience? Um, the last thing that I'll ask you to share with us is, you have about 10 minutes to put together your absolute favorite like snack or
Mm.
like drink combination. What are you making, and how can we be inspired by your food iconography as well?
My current fixation is like a breakfast ramen, which is
Oh,
just instant ramen. It's this kimchi ramen
fuck, I love kimchi.
and with two eggs on top, and I just scramble the eggs in it while it's cooking, and it's excellent and umami and savory and filling, and I just love it. It's my current fixation
I
right now.
will never recover from this interview.
And it takes solidly 10 minutes or less to make.
Fucking love this. I've officially entered. Will it be soup, or will it be rice bowl, or will it be noodle season? Right? It's one of those three on repeat, and
Mhm.
I'm having a both a love is love and mustard moment where I'm like, I just
Mhm.
I care so much about what you just shared.
Oh, we're bonded for life now.
Yes, well, my name is in calories. I call them calories. So I'm very overly invested in the happiness that someone experiences with their food. But everyone, we are going to part ways with you right now. Until we see you again, with Megan being knuckles deep in beer cheese and me just lurking in the corner, watching for Charles out the window. We will see you again. But as always, have a razzle dazzle day. And if that's unaccessible, you can put an F on front and have a frazzle dazzle day. We will see you next time.